You ever feel like you're just spinning your wheels at work? You're doing everything right, hitting all your marks, but you're still getting passed over for that promotion? Well, we're about to pull back the curtain on the secret rules, the invisible rubric that really decides who gets ahead.
Okay, let's just get right into it. Does this question hit home for you? You're crushing your targets, your performance reviews are great, but when that promotion list gets posted, crickets. Your name isn't on it. It is so frustrating, right? And the reason why? Well, it's probably not what you think it is.
This quote right here, it absolutely nails the problem. See, we're all taught this primary school way of thinking. Just do great work, get an A+, and you'll move up to the next grade automatically. But in the real world, in the executive layers of a company, that whole model isn't just wrong, it's actually holding you back.
And that mindset leads us straight into something we have to tear down, the meritocracy myth. You know, this idea that we all want to believe in, that the best, most dedicated worker will always, without fail, be the one to get the promotion. But the truth? It's way more complicated than that.
Now, let's be super clear about this. Your great work is essential. It's non-negotiable. It's what keeps you in the game. But you have to understand, in any organization full of high achievers, great performance is just the baseline. It's the price of admission. It doesn't make you stand out for a leadership role.
So, if just crushing your work isn't the golden ticket, then what is? This is where we're going to look at a framework that completely changes the game. It's called the P.I.E. promotion model.
All right, get ready for this, because it might just blow your mind. Look at these numbers. Performance, the thing we all focus on like 100% of the time, it only accounts for about 20% of your career success. Your image is 30%, and exposure is a massive 50%. So let me ask you, is that how you're spending your time and energy right now? Okay, so let's break this down real quick. Performance, that's the 20%. It's exactly what you think it is. The quality of your work, hitting your numbers, all that day-to-day stuff. You absolutely cannot succeed without it, but remember, it's just the foundation.
Next up, making up 30% is your image. This is your personal brand, right? Your executive presence. It really boils down to this question. Do people see you as a super reliable doer, or do they see you as a strategic leader? Because here's the secret. Leaders don't promote their best workers. They promote people they see as their future peers. And finally, the biggest piece of the pie, a whopping 50%. Exposure. Who knows about the great work you're doing? And more importantly, do the senior leaders, the people actually in the room making the decisions about your future, do they know your name? Do they understand your impact? This is the real game changer.
So if you do the math, image and exposure together make up this invisible 80% of the model. This is the stuff nobody really talks about. So let's get into it. How do you actually crack this hidden part of the promotion puzzle? This brings us to a really critical idea called the exposure gap. It's that space between the amazing work you're actually doing and what leadership is aware of you doing. This is exactly why the whole put your head down and work hard strategy so often fails. If the right people don't see your work, it almost doesn't count towards a promotion. And hey, the data totally backs this up. One study found that managers who actually dedicated time to getting internal visibility, like presenting in meetings with other teams, they got promoted 42% faster. This isn't about bragging. It's about strategically communicating your value.
Okay, let's go back and tackle that 30% for image. How do you actively start to manage your brand and shift how you're seen, from being the go-to doer to being seen as a leader? Well, it all starts with a really simple audit of how you communicate.
Just look at this comparison. It's night and day. The doer gets bogged down in all the little details, focuses on the how, and often asks for permission. But the leader? They provide clarity, they offer recommendations, and they focus on the big picture why and what's next. Just think about your last team meeting. Which one of these columns sounds more like you?
And this really points to a huge tactical shift you can make. You have to stop feeling the pressure to be the answer person who has every single detail memorized. Instead, you need to become the question person. Real leaders, you see, they don't have all the answers. What they have are the right questions and the right frameworks to help their teams find those answers.
All right, so we've covered a lot of theory here, but theory alone won't get you that promotion. So let's get super practical. Let's talk about a 90-day plan you can start tomorrow to rebalance your P.I.E. and get your career moving again.
Okay, step 1 is going to feel scary, but it is so important. Stop trying to deliver 110% on your performance. Aim for a really solid 80 or 90%, and then use that time you just freed up for the other 2 steps. Step 2, look at your calendar and hunt for those opportunities to get in front of senior leaders. And step 3, this is crucial. Find a sponsor. And remember, a mentor talks to you, a sponsor talks about you in those important rooms you're not in.
This quote really reframes everything, doesn't it? From the company's point of view, a promotion is not a reward for past work, it's an investment and it's a risk. By building up your image and your exposure, what you're really doing is lowering their perceived risk. You're making yourself the safest bet for that leadership role.
So, we land on this final, powerful question. It's so easy to just get buried in the day-to-day work, right? The tasks, the deadlines. But to really truly move your career forward, you've got to lift your head up and ask yourself, are you just working in your job, or are you strategically working on your P.I.E? The answer to that, well, it could change everything.